Welcome to Stateside Gooners, an Arsenal FC show, the podcast where American Gooners get together to share insights, rants, and the latest on all things Arsenal. I'm Eric, joined by my co-host Matt, and every week we're here to break down the highs, the heartbreaks, and everything in between as we ride the Arsenal wave from across the pond. Here we dive deep into the nitty-gritty of what's happening on the pitch and beyond. Whether it's those nail-biting match recaps or the tactical decisions we're all debating, we're covering it with the intensity and passion of fans who live and breathe the red and white. From big-name transfer rumors to some of our favorite deep-cut Gooner trivia, we keep it real and relatable. So grab a tea, coffee, or pint, settle in, and join us on Stateside Gooners as we bring a fresh American perspective to our beloved Arsenal. Because win, lose, or draw, this is where our Arsenal family meets. And hey, if you're enjoying the show, don't forget to subscribe, rate, and share it with your fellow Gooners. Your support helps keep this Arsenal conversation going week after week. Let's kick it off. Oh, Matt. PSV, PSV, PSV. How do you say it?
PSV.
PSV?
That's how I'm gonna go with it. PSV. Why not?
Well,
Got
you're the pronunciationist.
PS. Oh
That's
no, I am
so we're gonna go with that, Matt. We're
far
gonna go
from
with
that.
that.
Pronunciationist? What?
The pronunciationist?
Pronunciation nullist. Nullist. No.
Nullist?
Yeah, you gotta have a nullist in there, I think. Boy, what Champions League these last couple of days, Eric. Wound up a couple of penalty kick shootouts to decide everything.
And oh, wait, I still have this stupid avatar.
I know, that's what I was
I'm
laughing
I'm
at.
a real boy.
And folks, you got to see this avatar. It's funny.
I'm a real boy. I did post the last episode
On YouTube,
on YouTube, so there is
go
quite a
watch
bit of
the
there is
avatar. It's
quite a
great.
bit of me as an avatar, which is funny.
It really does
I
make me laugh.
enjoyed I enjoyed Liverpool's defeat a lot.
Surprising.
Yeah, and this next round of games is going to be fun because there's a lot of different permutations that could happen, and I think that one of them could be us being Arsenal playing Aston Villa to see who gets into the final.
A final? It would be final, wouldn't it?
I
Yeah.
think so.
Wouldn't that be a wild
I mean,
thing?
we have to beat Real Madrid, they have to beat PSG. So I'm not saying it's easy, but Jim Carrey, you're saying there's a chance.
Yeah, why not?
So
Although I don't necessarily like playing against the English Premier League teams unless it's the final. In the Champions League, I'm not a fan of it. We play them all the time. But
yeah,
do you like penalties being used as the decider here in games, or
yes.
you poo-poo it? Yeah, I don't like it either.
No, I like it.
You like it?
I do because the alternative, and there's a lot of games during the season and a lot of competitions, especially for the best teams that are trying to decide these rounds to go further and further and further into, the Champions League. I think that playing 90 minutes, playing 180 minutes, then playing 30 minutes of extra time, if you can't decide it in 210 minutes, there's got to be a short, quick, let's get it done. And that's what penalty kicks is. If we have to go until somebody scores and have it like hockey or something where, next goal wins, that's just too many minutes.
Yeah, I don't know how you solve it, but I think you got to make the extra time a little more valuable because at that point you have a lot of teams that just play for the penalties. They play the home game, then they play the away game, and then they're just killing time in that 30 minutes. They're not trying.
Well, I disagree. I
Hmm.
I firmly disagree. In this particular case that we're talking about this week's Champions League games, most of the 30 minutes of extra time, I thought with my eyes, Liverpool and PSG were going for the win. And definitely the Madrid derby, both teams were going for the win. The first half of that extra time, Atletico Madrid dominated. The second half of that extra time, Real Madrid dominated. That's that's my take. They were both going for it, man, defending to the hilt because Atletico was coming at them hard. And then Real Madrid in the second half, they made some changes. And so I thought in this round, Matt, that they were all four teams going for it. And penalty kicks was just who can make the fewest mistakes. And guess what?
Yeah, but boy, it's such a hard way to decide
I
who
don't want
wins
to decide the I
these
don't want to
things.
decide the World Cup that way. I don't want to decide the final, the Champions League final that way. But anything leading up to either one of those finals, I would be okay. And I think, did we see in the World Cup a penalty?
Oh, we have in the past. Yeah, I
Not
mean,
this recent one, but the one before, I feel like, or the France one on penalties or something. Anyway,
yeah,
whatever.
I, I,
Side.
I guess I think these two games were the exception. I think you normally see a lot of the extra time is just sort of played out the string so we can get the penalties.
Yeah.
That's what I've seen with my own eyes. But yeah, I think you're right. These two, they were going at it. They were going for
So we're going to talk about PSV, PSV. We're going to, and I heard the presenters
it.
saying all of those.
PSV? Okay.
PSV, PSV. I say
I
PSV. That's how I say it. But
PSV, right. Got
then
it.
we're going to talk about Arsenal women against Everton as a preview, and we're going to preview Arsenal men against Chelsea.
Okay. But first, what do we got?
I test marketed, Matt, a number of Spuds jokes, and the one I'm about to tell you is the only one that passed what I view as a very low bar to offend people, but it didn't cross the line. So, what's the difference between a bucket of shit and a Spuds fan?
A bucket of and a Spuds. I don't know. What is the difference, Eric?
What do we think of Tottenham?
Shit?
What do we think of shit?
Tottenham.
So, what's the difference between a bucket of shit and a Spurs fan?
Right. There's no bucket.
The bucket.
The bucket.
All right. Moving on.
All right. PSV.
PSV.
2-2 draw. Look at that score line. Yeah, take credit. Celebrate. We don't have any of the things following up in
I
the
thought
back.
we did.
I thought all those reactions were happening, but no, nothing.
Yeah. Sweet
You
prediction by
got that
Sweet.
right.
Yep.
Spot
Sweet
on.
prediction by Sweets. I don't know why I thought it was. I thought the two goals was going to be because I knew we were going to have substitutes in. I don't think I predicted publicly a lineup, but the lineup I sent you wasn't close. We Arteta made way more changes than I would have expected. So all good, but
A
I was
surprising
thinking the
amount.
number of changes
Yeah.
that we were going to have meant that the defense would be a little bit shaky. We'd give up those two goals, but I just the way we dominated them last time, I just thought we could get a couple. So,
And we did.
and we did.
And I will say in the starting lineup, it was nice to see some of those guys.
You have
I
what are
call
you
them
calling
I
them?
call them the untrustables.
I
These are
feel
the
like
guys that kind of sit on the bench and never really they don't even warm up. Although I will say Zinke has started to have a few more warm-ups in his locker lately.
yeah,
And
we're going to talk about him in a minute.
Tierney has also had a few of these games in his locker too. So maybe I should get away from calling them the untrustables. Maybe they're partially untrustable. I
Yeah,
don't
but I feel like there's a food that we used to give my kids when they were in elementary school, and it's like a PB&J sandwich that gets pressed, so there's no crust, and it's like inside,
Sealed? Yeah, it's
it's
all sealed
sealed
up.
inside, and
Yeah,
they call it
okay.
an uncrustable. So when you said untrustable, it made me think of snack foods or like whatever for my
Yummy.
kids. Yeah. Actually,
PB&J.
those those Uncrustables are the number one snack in the NFL. And I think it's the Green Bay Packers that eat over the course of a whole season like a truckload and a half of Uncrustables. Look it up. Uh,
Define truckload.
it might not be them, but
Is that the
Uncrustables
big
is a
18 wheeler?
huge pregame and halftime snack because it's got protein, it's got sugars, it's got carbs,
It's got all the things you'd want.
it's got all the things you want. Anyway, what did you think
I'm
about
gonna
the
find
starting line?
these. Yeah, I thought it was great. I thought it was great to get a lot of people rest. There were a lot of folks that got rest, loads of them. We got Timber some rest finally. We got William Saliba some rest. Ricky, who, injury prone, good to get him some rest. Partey, he got some rest.
Tomas,
Martin got rested, which was great. Tross, he needed some rest also. So it's good to see those guys get the chance to get off their feet, watch the other guys go.
so lineup
And
itself was Raya White Kivior at right center back, which I thought was interesting. He did play
I
there
thought that was
once.
wild.
He
Yeah,
did
you've
play
talked
once
about this
before.
before. Yeah,
Yeah,
you've talked about this before as a
Gabby and Lewis Skelly, so MLS, yeah. And then
yeah.
Zinke played in the Odegaard role. Jorginho played, his number 6, and Rice played his normal number 8. But then up top, what a weird. It was Sterling, Marino, and Tierney. So we had a left back at left back. We had a
You
left back at right center back. We had a left back at right number 8, and we had a left back at left wing. Matt.
all of the left backs that well, I guess no, not all of them. I guess Ricky was on the bench.
If Lewis Skelly went in for Rice and we had Ricky, we would have had 5 left backs in the field with it. This is crazy. But we
It's
talked about this, that in order to
bonkers.
get I specifically talked about this.
Yes.
We talked about it a
We
couple
play
episodes
we
back
play the
where we said
defenders up
we're
front.
gonna have to play these defenders up front to give the other guys some opportunities to sit. And frickin' hey, this is what we did.
But yeah, Sterling, the front line was Sterling, Marino, and Tierney.
And
Who
Sterling had his
who
best game
had
as an
that
Arsenal.
on your bingo card?
Nobody, but Sterling had his best game as an Arsenal. He had 2 chances to score
Fair.
goals,
Yeah,
and he
fair.
missed a little left-footed like chip over the keeper. He was the fastest player on that run. He had a long run. The ball was slid through to him, and he was onside, and he ran 40 to 40 yards, sprinting 40 yards, and the two guys behind him, the defenders, couldn't catch him. And he
Hmm.
finally got to where he was like maybe, I don't know, I'm going to say 12, 15 yards out, just on the left side of the goal. And he
Mhm.
tries to chip the keeper and just is so tired. And the ball just was maybe 3 inches out in front of him, I said on Blue Sky, that when he went to chip it, he didn't get enough foot under it. So it only chipped 3 feet instead of 6 feet.
Got
So
it.
he
So
missed
he
it. Then he had
couldn't
another
find it.
one that was right before the end of the first half. Then he had another one like, I don't know, fifth kick from the end of the game, like whatever. It's right at the end of the game, and he had another chance to score and kind of blew it, but another save if I recall. 2 assists on our 2 goals.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good for him. I'm I'm not going to venture to say that he's going to play a large role in the team as we move forward here the rest of the season, but good for him.
Mikel
Improve his
said
value.
Mikel said a few weeks back after he played and had a decent game, or maybe it was after he played and had a really shitty game, but Mikel said, we need him. We need him. We've got these injuries. I'm paraphrasing, but we've got these injuries. And if we're going to do all the things we want to do, we need him to be good. So we have to back him. And I said, I never want
This
to
is
see him
that.
on the
Yeah,
field again.
I keep
That's,
saying that.
yeah, that
Mhm.
is, that's real. I said that. That's in, the public domain now. But I'll tell you what, if he can be that good for 10 to 15 minutes a game, just as good as he was and trying as hard as he was and playing as well. The thing is I think he was playing well because he was taking charge and the people around him maybe weren't the same quality of player as the best team we can put out there, where he looks like the worst player.
Oh, so you think he's taking charge, as you said, taking charge. I'm the guy. I have to do
It's
this. It's
possible.
my responsibility. I gotcha. Takeaways from the match. Now, you had some interesting things texting back and forth with me during the match. You talked about Zinky.
Well, yeah, but you wanted to talk about, because what do we always talk about? We need.
Oh, well, you got to score first. You got to score early. You got to come out strong. And we did that. That was good. That was a big takeaway for me.
Yeah.
I was happy and pleased to see
I
that.
liked it because when you're up by 6 goals and you're trying not to give up any, or at least not
Come out and
go
get them right
negative on
away.
a game, because then it gives them the idea that they can. to score first meant that we were, instead of 7-1, we were 8-1. It just made it that much harder for them, putting them in a deeper hole. And the ex Spud scores the goal, runs into the net, grabs that back out. And it wasn't that long after, but we were up 2-1 at halftime, and their goal
Hmm.
towards the end of the game didn't really matter. But I liked that we got started early because it just put our heel on their neck.
Yeah, it was good. It was good to see us get up early. But Zinky, what do you think about this performance that you saw with your own eyes
I've
here?
been wanting to sell Zinke uh, really all season.
Two
We
years?
have we have
2 years,
all
I
of the
think.
yeah, we have all of these left backs. How many left backs do we need? We might as well get rid of the oldest one and the slowest one and all of well, he's slower than Ricky. So you're not
Okay.
sure.
I
So,
don't know.
but to get rid of him, and he only plays left back for us. He got converted from a midfielder to left back up north,
Huh.
and we brought him to Arsenal to play left back because he can invert. So he's playing in the midfield as a left back, but he got weaker and weaker and weaker playing in the midfield as a left back because he has those defensive responsibilities. Defensive responsibilities don't go away when he's playing the right eight. But if he's able to do that in that spot, and frankly, we know he can. We know he has the skills to do that because he does it for his country. He did it before he went
Mm,
to City.
true.
Um, I feel like we should sign him for an extra year. I think he has 1 year left on his contract. We should sign him so that we have him for two rather than sell him this summer. It's one less person to buy, one less person to sell, and he can, I think, be a really good substitute for Odegaard when we need to sub Odegaard. And that leaves Waneri as a backup to Saka. So now we don't need to buy a backup
Some
for Odegaard and a backup for Saka, depending on whatever we were going to do with Waneri. But we can focus on the left wing and focus on a striker.
So I guess the your thoughts on this though are Zinky could be that second creative player behind Martin to either start to spell him against lesser teams or to come in. Now this is where I got to question you because you want Zinky coming in a 1-1 game and because Martin's gassed and he just can't go anymore, you want Zinky to come in to fill that role
I
in a
feel like
game
he
where
could
you
do
need a
that.
goal.
Yep. I
Okay.
feel like he's got the creativity and so call me crazy. Am I
Crazy.
crazy, Eric?
You are
Call me
crazy.
crazy, but I feel like to give him less than 1,000, 700 or 800 minutes next season in that specific role, those 700 or 800 minutes that Martin gets to sit on the bench are big minutes.
And
They're the
could be
difference
beneficial.
between
Yeah,
they're the
I get
difference
you.
spread out over the amount of time. And having Waneri come in for Saka when we know he can do the job and he can go into other positions too. But I think that having that flexibility means that Saka might not get a hamstring injury. And I know it's different with Martin. His injury was on international duty, but we've got these injuries from overuse.
Sure, sure, sure. I'm with you.
So yeah, I like it.
I'm with you. I like the idea because you already have the solution in house. The question is, will the manager try to see that throughout the rest of these 10 games? However many games we have in this season, is he going to do that? That will be fascinating to see if he actually does have Zinke come in and see more and more of him.
For me, I think since the league is pretty much out of pocket and Champions League is really what is important, if I'm Arteta, I'm giving half of the right 8 minutes in whatever games are left. I'm not looking at the schedule, but I give half those minutes to Odegaard and half those minutes to Zinchenko, so that
Just
Odegaard's
what?
fresh. He never plays the game
Oh, I
before a
follow you.
Champions League game.
Gotcha. So that's what you're prioritizing Champions League clearly
We need him to be
and
fresh.
obviously.
Yep. Yep.
Got it.
And next up in the Champions League's Real Madrid, they were tied
Oof.
1-1 after 180 minutes. no goals in 30 minutes of extra time, so they went to penalty kicks. How do you feel about penalty kicks as a decider, Matthew?
You know what I think about penalty kicks as a decider. It just dilutes that extra time. Why even play the extra time? Just go to penalties,
So
right?
a lot of good penalty kicks, a lot of really bad penalty kicks, but ex Sinner Alvarez allegedly kicked his penalty kick take off his standing foot. They showed every angle that were on the television camera angles, and I couldn't tell. Micah Richards couldn't tell. Kate, she used to be Abdo. I don't remember what her married name is. Kate, she couldn't tell. Thierry Henry was like, and he's the guy that takes these.
Yeah.
He was like, nope, you could tell by the flight of the ball. As soon as his right foot kicked it, it went up. And I'm like, yeah, because when you kick it, the ball goes up, Thierry.
Yeah.
Like, but he said it was different. The spin on the ball was just slightly different, and the angle of it was slightly different, and it did hit off the bottom of the crossbar
Ooh.
and like snuck in top bins. But what they said, they had this tactical pundit come on, and she was saying that the automatic offsides technology can do way more than that. And so that and these high resolution cameras that they use were able to see that his foot kicks the ball and the ball hits his other like toenail or something,
Oh,
and so the rule is the rule. If it
sure.
touched his boot at all,
Happened, it happened.
no,
Mhm.
yeah.
But
So
boy, if we're talking about looking at everything so close and through such magnifying glasses, that's hard. That's really hard.
so Oblak goes on, makes a save. It doesn't matter who. He goes on, makes a save. And then the very next kick is Llorente for Atletico, and he slams it off the bar and it comes back out. So they got back in it after that kick was taken away from Alvarez. They got back in it with an Oblak save, back on par. The very next take by Atletico was into the bar, and then Madrid just walked away with it. So
Oof.
so we face them, and we'll cover Real Madrid more when we do the preview for the home leg at the Emirates. And Matt,
I am so scared to do that preview.
but
I
you know
don't want
what?
to watch them.
It's annoying that the second leg is in Madrid because we finished ahead of Madrid in
Yeah,
the
I don't.
in the league table. And I mean, in American sports, we know that if you finish ahead in the regular season, you get the home advantage. And
Yes,
in
that's
these
how it works.
ties, yeah, and in these ties, the home advantage is by playing at home second. That's the
Correct.
home advantage.
Yep.
So
Because
they
if you're
did
playing the extra time, you're going to play it at home.
your crowd, your
Yes.
your locker room, all of it. Some kind of a crazy ass draw happens after they decide who's going to play each other in the round of 16. It's automatically the higher seeded team has the second leg. So we saw that with us in PSV. But
Mm-hmm.
but then they do a stupid ass draw and they drew that we get the second leg every all the way through now to the final.
Yes.
We have second leg, and I think that's dumb. Nobody no, like Barcelona's left, and they're I think the only team that was ahead of us that's left. So we should
True.
have home field all the way through unless we play Barcelona.
I completely and wholeheartedly agree with you, and that's not just because I'm an Arsenal fan. How'd they do those draws? Did they draw those with the little
They had
balls in
yeah,
the
they
in the
had balls
bowl?
and bowls, and they
Balls and
drew them
bowls?
one ball at a
When the
time,
heck
not
did
two
they do
balls.
that? Did I miss that? Okay. I,
After they
it
drew the
stinks.
balls for who was going to play in the round of 16, they drew other balls to see who was going to have the home and away. And then they drew other balls.
Were they different colored balls?
Some of them might have been blue, some of them might have been white. I don't know.
Were they red? Okay. Okie doke. Moving
Arsenal
on.
women, Everton.
Arsenal women, Everton. So right now, just to level set everybody, because it's been a while. The Arsenal women sit in third place, 15 games played. Chelsea and Man City have played 16. I just want to point that out. They for some reason they played last week on a Thursday, We trail Man United, who are in second, 3 points. We're ahead of Man City by 1 point. So Man City's played one more game than us, and we still are ahead of them by a point. So that's good. We're in the Champions League spots. If we win Friday, it's a Friday game. We can move into a tie with Man U. Man United, they play Liverpool on Thursday. So that should be a fun one. So we'll know the result of that game prior to our game, and if we win, we could leapfrog them. Superior goal differential.
Oh, we have a superior goal differential to Man United.
I believe yes, that is yes. I'm gonna say yes.
I'm gonna look it up.
And we can extend our lead over Man City clearly, and then have a 4 point cushion on them, which would be just fantastic heading into these last games.
Goal differential for us, 15 games is plus 26. 15 games for Man United is plus 23. So you are correct, sir.
Unless, yeah, and if they lose, then it would be great. And we win, it's going to be, yes, the numbers, the maths work.
The maths work.
I'm not going to talk about Chelsea because they are just way too far ahead. So we're just not going to talk about them. The real mix for us is second, third, and fourth.
It's like Disney. We're not going to talk about Bruno.
No, we're
We
not.
don't talk about Bruno.
Fight Club, that too. Our game. It's a Friday game and it's at Everton. I guess it's a good thing because we play, we've got Champions League next week against Real Madrid. So it's sort of Groundhog Day for us and in both the women and the men
There have been a
for
couple times this
Champions League.
season where the men
Odd.
and the women played the same team in the same week. So it's fun
So
that it's Champions League too.
yes, this is
Kismet,
kind of neat.
both
Yes,
win. Let's go,
fun.
both win.
Everton's women. So where do they sit? They're currently in eighth place. They have 16 points from 15 games. They've scored 14 goals. They've given up 22. So that's a -8 goal differential. But Eric, they've been playing pretty well these last 6 games. They're basically, as many wins as losses in these last six. They've scored 10 total goals in the last six. So the defense must be doing something right for them to be averaging a little over a goal and a half a game. They have had a lot of corners, 25. That's a little over four per game. So perhaps that's how they're doing it. I haven't watched all of their 6 games, so I don't know exactly how they're scoring
They're
goals.
doing better than all the teams behind them, and they're doing better than Brighton and Hove Albion, who are ahead of them, and they're just better than Tottenham, who are ahead of them. If they win this game, they would move into, depending on how much they win by, either sixth or fifth, and other results. But they
So they're
could move into
motivated.
sixth. Yeah,
They're motivated. They're playing at home. Last time out, a nil-nil draw at Meadow Park, and this was under Jonas Eidevall. This was back in October when this game was played, and we had this result. This was the game that Arsenal fans started to worry. We had that really bad start to the season, lots of losses to big teams, almost essentially lost the league in those first 4 or 5 games. And this was sort of one of the cappers on it. It was just before the Chelsea match. And boy, who knew this was the start of the end of the Jonas era? But I guess you could point to this as that game, nil
it
nil.
certainly felt like it at that time.
It was a depressing result. I remember that much, that it was just like, how did that happen? Because Everton were really bad. I mean, they were like bottom of the table bad.
Indeed.
Does it matter though? At this point, no, it doesn't matter at all. Arsenal's changed. Everton has certainly changed. They're playing better. So no, I don't think that the result of that matters. But it is interesting. It was 0-0. Danger players for Everton. They just got a new addition back in December of 2024. Gago is her last name. She's a French. I think she plays for the French team. She's got 4 goals in the 7 games that she's played with Everton.
Lady Gaga.
She comes from FC Nantes, and that's where they got her from. So 4 goals, 7 games played. That's not bad. I'd take that.
That's more than half a goal a game.
Another danger player is Hayashi. 4 goals in 15 games played, but she's quite the creative force for them from the midfield.
Gesundheit.
And then and then Payne, 3 assists. So that's what we've got. So we're talking about danger players, and I can count all of the goals that we've identified for these danger players on both of my hands. I don't even have to go to my toes. So I think that Arsenal can get this match. This is something that they can get. Formation. So Everton plays, and they started the season with three at the back, but now lately they've been playing four at the back. That seems to, help with their defensive solidity. And they feature one or two strikers at the front. So sometimes they go with one striker running up front, or sometimes they go with two. They have been playing better. We've commented on that, and they are now sitting in a comfortable position in the table. So they're going to go for it. So what am I interested in seeing in this game? Look, we're coming off a loss. Coach Liegers has managed games after losses, but I'm interested to see what adjustments she wants to make because losing and getting shut out at home, not fun.
You said in a text to me, or maybe we were talking, that you thought this might be a template. Maybe it was in the last episode that this might be a template for other teams to
Liverpool's
to
right.
beat. Yeah, Liverpool
Mhm.
to beat. Use those tactics. I think it was the same tactics that Chelsea used. So I don't think it was necessarily that. I think they just played better than they have been playing. So we want them to continue to play better as they face United. But I we're better than these guys. Sleegers is going to make these adjustments. And I think you had some comments like Kim Little wasn't really good and some other things.
Yeah,
I
I want
think,
to see some bounce back performances
yeah,
from the women, and that goes from the back with Van Domslar. She was awful in the game. I am she is a goalkeeper that is renowned for playing the ball with the ball at her feet, and she just couldn't do it on against Liverpool.
they pressed the shit out of her. I told you I watched the first half of that game and
They
I,
did, but she
nobody
had enough
pressed.
time. She had enough time to get the ball out of her feet and out of the. Yes, she did.
All she had to do was kick it hard in some
Sure.
cases. And, she didn't. And we've talked about that, how, if the goalies, I mean, if the coach and the manager is saying that, you need to pass out from the back, play out from the back, and then and then if you don't do that, maybe you don't get to start. So you want to do what the coach is telling you.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Sometimes you just got to launch it. So anyway,
Like Bern Leno trying to pass the ball out of the back. I really want to see that. I want to see a bounce back performance from Kim Little. I'm desperate to see that because ever since she's come back, she has not been very good,
I didn't hear you
frankly.
said Little.
Yeah, Kim Little.
Maybe we'll
Hmm.
get to see
And then
Paloma.
Katie. Oh, I would love to see Palova play, but I just don't know that we're going to get to see that. Hopefully, we do. I want to see Mariana play. I want to see her show up because she disappeared last game. Early goals would be good to see. That would settle all of the minds of the players if we could get one early goal. And then Chloe Kelly, she is playing against a former team in Everton. She used to play for them.
Who
Let's hope
hasn't she
she's.
played
Oh,
for?
yeah, we don't want to talk about City and Arsenal. So, okay. Predictions of this game. I see this as a 3-1. Everton have been scoring a little bit more, and given our defensive frailties the last game, I think we're going to give one up. But I think Russo, Mariana, and Kelly are going to get the goals. Eric?
I think that we're going to score more goals than we have. Uh,
Good.
but I think we're going to give up some goals. I don't know that it's going to be
Yeah.
a 4-3 like it was with West Ham, but I think I would probably go 4-2.
Okay.
Um,
Do we want to go?
let's take a break. We'll come back and do the men against Chelsea and some quick things. We're
Yeah, buddy.
back. We're back. We're screwing around with
Yes, we're having a little fun with the reactions.
Whee!
Oh, like that. I do like the clown. It's kind of fun.
I like this one's my favorite.
Oh, the hearts.
I love you, Matt.
Oh, that's sweet.
All right, let's get into it. Where were we?
Next up for Arsenal men. Who do we have
I don't know.
this weekend? We
Chelsea,
got
but my notes
some other
app.
club.
Yeah, my notes
Some
app fucked
crazy.
off, so I got to start over.
Oh no,
Yep,
that's a bad thing for the notes to do.
there you go.
Chelsea's up next.
Yeah,
So
Chelsea's up next.
you had a couple of match facts in here that I found
God,
interesting. Chelsea's only win past 11 meeting, only win, folks, in the last 11 meetings in all competitions, 2-0. Premier League at the Emirates. When? What year?
2021. It was August of 2021. It was the very beginning of the season. And indeed, this is only one of two games that Arteta has actually lost against Chelsea. The other one being the second game he was in charge. We
Ah,
played
right.
Chelsea and he lost 1-0. And both of those games were at the Emirates, which I think is the sort of important fact to know is that the only losses we have against them recently is at home. So just I don't know that matters. Those teams weren't this team, and our team wasn't this team. And I think
Yeah.
we played players that we haven't had on our team for years in those games.
Yeah, I mean it's a nice streak. It's good that we have not lost to them in a very long time, and I hope
Chelsea has not won any of their past five at the Emirates. One draw, four losses. So saying all that about previous wins, it's been a while.
punish them. That's what I say.
You did the recap for the women. So Chelsea are fourth in the Premier League, 49 points, 53 goals for, 36 conceded, 17 is their difference. Form guide, loss, win, loss, loss, win, win. In their last six in the form table, they're eighth. Even though they're fourth in the league, actually, they're in eighth. Seven teams have done better than them in the last
Hmm.
six matches. Arsenal are in second place on 55 points, 52 goals for. So they've scored one more than we have. 24 goals conceded. So we've scored, I don't know. They've given up 50% more than we have. We're goal differential plus 28. We're win, loss, draw, draw. So we're like going sort of heading down instead of up. And we're in fourth place in the league over the last six matches in the form guide. So not great. It's the loss and the two draws.
Yeah,
So
the two
we need
draws.
this. Yeah, we need this to get us back on off the schneid and moving again.
Yeah, I think it's this is a always a good time to see Chelsea based on what we've said earlier. But
Chelsea
we
had only one loss in the league when we faced them mid-November of last year at Stamford Bridge. They had only one loss
right.
on the opening weekend, and they had 5 wins, 3 draws when we played them. And then we also drew, but they've cooled a lot since then. And cold Palmer is cold. He's cold. So
Oh,
I'd like to keep him that way. I think we kept him without a goal in the first match.
yeah, I think he had a couple of things that he did in the first half, but I think that was the extent of it. He loves to hit that little pocket in between the right back and the center back. He likes that ball. So watch out, Timber. Watch out, Benjamin. I don't know who's playing right back, but he's going to try it.
I think it's
He
given.
tried it a couple times.
Although Ben was pretty good in this game.
He was really good in this game.
When we
But
played them the last time, well, walk us through their danger men. They have one or
Danger
two.
Man. We talked about Mr. Cole Palmer. 15 goals. 15 goals. That's a lot. Nkunku, 14 goals. Mr. Jackson, not Samuel, Mr. Jackson, 9 goals.
He got most of those early in the season and then and so he has not been starting, and they've been putting Pedro Neto up top. We'll get into this in a minute, and where Neto was playing on the left side and Jackson up top, now Neto's up top and Nkuku's on the left wing.
Okay, so they've flipped things around quite a
Yeah.
bit.
And that's Nkuku's been the one scoring a lot of goals lately.
Yeah, I mean 14, that's a lot of I mean that's a lot of goals. I don't do we I well, I guess we'll figure that out later. I don't think we have a 14 and 15 goal scorer.
Well, we do, but he's out for the season.
Yeah. 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 Last time out this lineup, it was Sanchez in goal, Gusto, Fofana, Colwell, Cucurella
Cucurella.
on the Cucurella.
That's right.
I just like to say Cucurella.
Okay.
Caicedo and Lavia in the middle, and they play. It's a 4-2-4-1
Four two
is what
three one.
4-2-3-1.
Yeah, because Pedro Neto. Yeah, sorry. That doesn't look right when I put it that way. I didn't put
Gotcha.
just Neto.
Maduke. So their three then are Maduke with Palmer in the middle and Pedro Neto
Yep.
there on the left hand side with Jackson doing all the stretching and running up front.
And that's
And
what
again,
they did
that was
last
the
time.
last time out.
And
We
you were
don't know what
talking
that's
about
gonna
Neto
be.
against Ben. He did the sort of stank wiggle leg
Yeah, they did that
against
little dance
Ben.
they had for a
Yeah.
while. That was fun.
Yep. Yep.
I could see that again.
Here's what I think is going to happen this time. Sanchez, although he might not be in the net, they have another guy that they might put in instead of him because Sanchez is a little bit fumble fingers sometimes. And I don't know that he's going to be their goalie next year. I gave him about a 50% chance to be their
Hmm.
goalie next year. They might sell him. I'm still going to say he's in. When we played them the first time, their right back was Gusto, but they've not been playing him. They've been playing Fofana at right back recently. I think they're going to put Gusto in again. Adarabioyo, Colwell, Cucurella. I think they'll go with Sweets thinks they'll go with sweet as candy, Caramello Gusto. So there's my Chris Berman, Matt. He'll be there right back this
Okay.
time. Fernandez, Caicedo, Sanchez, sorry, Sancho instead of Madueke.
Oh,
I think
okay.
Sancho comes in, Palmer in the middle as the number 10, and Cuckoo on left wing and Pedro Neto up top, which I talked about. So
Yeah, and that Pedro Neto was the one that scored the goal against us on just a wicked shot from, I don't know, 25 yards out. It was a blister of a thing.
wasn't it like he hit it with his right foot? They switched. He went from left wing to right wing. And
Yeah.
he hit it with his right foot, and it was like a .02 xG.
Yes,
So
it was
hopefully we don't
very
give,
low.
yeah, hopefully we don't give that up this time.
And of course, we had our defensive failings there too. Yeah, let's hope we don't give up that long range goal and that Raya is ready for those shots because typically those aren't going in.
I talked about our form guide was 3 wins, a
Yeah.
loss, and two draws. Arteta's won all 6 of the Premier League London derbies in
Oh,
2024. And this is what we talked about by this was from the last time we talked about this aggregate score of 22-3. And we scored 5 or more goals in 3 of those games. So that was leading up to this one, home games and whatever. So we've only lost one London derby in the Premier League in the last 2 seasons. And that was the game we just had against West Ham. So this season, we've played all of our London derbies on the road. We're 4 wins, 2 draws. We've only played 2 of the 6 at the Emirates, 1 win, 1 loss. And our next 4 home games, this could be a 3 quick things, but it's not. Our next 4 home games, including Chelsea, are all London derbies. Chelsea, Fulham, Brentford, Palace, all in a row. Not back to back. I'm just saying home games.
that is wild that's how it's staggered out. That is, yeah,
It's basically about every 2 weeks we're going to have a home game with a team coming across from somewhere else in
yeah.
London.
Coming across, not too far away, so they're gonna sleep in their own beds too. Arteta is 6-3-2 against Chelsea as a manager.
It's not bad.
That is not bad at all. We talked about his losses the losses that he's had to them, and that oddly enough, both are at the Emirates, which strange, strange indeed.
Well,
Arsenal's danger
yeah, I
man.
was
We
gonna say,
talked
who are their
about,
Benjamin? Do we have
we've
any
said
left?
15, 14, we're rolling off those for Chelsea, but we've got Martinelli at 8 goals, Winery at 8 goals, Trossard at 7 goals, Gabby at 6 goals, and Marino and Rice and Odegaard at 5 goals. So lots of contributions from lots of players. I think that is important. It's good that we have a whole bunch of contributions from others, but boy, it'd be nice to have somebody with a whole pile of goals sitting at the top of this list.
Everybody that I think is going to start in this game, we'll get to this in just about 2 seconds. Everybody that I think is going to start this game in the outfield positions has already scored a goal for us this season. So it
Bodes well.
anything's
Yes.
possible. Yeah.
Mhm. Yep.
Last
Yep.
time out, we played Raya, White, Saliba, Gabby, and Timber played left back. Odegaard, Thomas, and Rice in the middle. Saka, Havertz, and Martinelli up top. So it's going to be a lot of changes.
Ooh, a lot of changes. So this time, the thoughts are Raya, Timber, Saliba, Gabby, MLS. That's our back four. Odegaard, Thomas, and Rice in the midfield. Winery, Martinelli in the center of the park, folks. This will be fun. And Trossard on the left.
I thought that Martinelli might get some time up top against PSV. And I know he came in, but I'm not remembering where he played. Did he play up top?
I don't know.
I don't remember. I feel like he did, but I'm get all these games are coming so thick and fast. I can't remember. I think that he's going to get his chance. If you remember way back in the day, I didn't put this in our notes, but I think I texted you the first game we played against Liverpool. He came. Maybe it wasn't the first, but it was an early game that he played against Liverpool. It was a 5-5 FA Cup or Carabao Cup game, and he scored 2 goals. And then I think we went to PKs and won on PKs. Uh,
Mhm.
Jurgen Klopp called him the talent or a talent of the century.
I know, and this is from Jurgen.
He scored 15 goals the first year. I think he scored 10 the second, something like that. I don't recall exactly, but and he's gone kind of downhill from that early high hope. So we need that Martinelli to come in and play striker instead of playing left wing. And I think that with Winery and Trossard, his movement will be good. And I think that they'll certainly get him and Odegaard. I think they'll get him the ball, and we just have to hope he can do something with it.
Yeah, but Martinelli's not going to play your traditional big striker role where you're trying to control the ball and knock it off to somebody. He is not that. He is not that kind of
No, but
center
I
striker.
think he's going to be
He's the getting behind kind of
he's got that
striker.
speed. We're going to use
We
that
don't
speed.
we don't want him if we see him dropping in midfield in this game, that's not good for us. We want him running in behind.
And we've seen him play on the left wing recently, where he not recently, but before he was injured, where he was cutting inside against a couple of teams and getting out in front. He had some offsides, but he had some chances. So I'm really looking for that.
Yeah,
We're
this will be key. I think this will be fun to watch
we're
for
at
us.
home. We have trouble scoring in the league. 1 goal in our last 3 games. If we exclude that 5 goal haul against the Sinners, we've got 4 goals in our last 5 games. So when we look at those 6 games in the
Wow.
last six, Chelsea have 5 goals in 5 goals if we take out their 4-0 win against Southampton. So they're not in a whole lot of, different situation than we are. Both teams have one good game and a lot of meh.
Yeah.
Uh, we've conceded only 3 goals in our last 6 games, though. Chelsea have conceded 9 goals in 6 games, but they have 2 clean sheets in their last 2 games. Those two were against Southampton and Leicester. So
Ooh.
relegation sides,
Yeah,
whatever,
relegation
right?
fodder. Yeah.
I'm going to hold out hope that because we had so many starters rest today, that's going to make a difference on Sunday, and I'm going to go 2-1. I think we do give up a goal. I don't know if it's going to be Cold Palmer or not. I think we do give up a goal, but I think we're going to win by scoring two. So what do you got?
Yeah, I think we're actually gonna get, I'm gonna say the same score as the women's game, 3-1. I think we will score more than we expect. I think we're gonna have more opportunities than we think we're gonna have. I mean, I do believe Martinelli up top is gonna be a blast to watch. And I'm really encouraged by that because I want to see him do well. And I want to see how this plays itself out. So
I think he
excited
scores.
to see that. He's gonna score.
I think
You
he's
bet
going to
he's gonna
score.
score.
Yeah.
He loves playing Chelsea. Just remember, folks, this is the same player who took the ball at his own 35-yard line and streaked down the field and scored on Chelsea. I can't remember if it was one of those Carabao Cup matches or if it was an FA Cup, but it was impressive what he did to them that day. So he likes playing against them.
Hopefully
There's
he
certain
they
teams you see their shirt, you play well.
hopefully he has that speed still in him because it seems like the last couple of years when he's had a little niggle here and a little injury there, missed a couple games, and now
Yeah,
a
fair.
month or something, that
That's
that
fair.
he's been slower and slower over the course of time, and that happened to Theo Walcott, that happened to Hector Bellerin, it's happened to a number of players that we've had over the years, Tierney even, that after they had an injury they slowed down.
Oh, Eric, that happens to all of us.
Yeah, not me.
That and
I'm as
Father
fast as I
Time.
was in college. Ain't saying much, Matt.
Yeah, I guess that's the okay.
Three quick things.
Oh
So
my gosh, yeah.
Raheem Sterling has registered 45 goal involvements in the Champions League, 27 goals and 18 assists. Only Beckham with 52. The guy
Yeah.
I'm not going to say, the Spuds guy with 50. The guy we talked about last episode coming over and maybe winning a title with us, who plays for Bayern now. So you can say it if you want. And
And
Wayne Rooney, who is 47. So you got really he's David Beckham has scored the most as an English player with 52, and Sterling is just seven behind that. So let's hope that he can get seven more goal involvements between now and the end of the season for us and tie David Beckham.
what a
What are we
great
rooting for?
shout out. And let's make sure you get six of those against Real Madrid.
No, 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 no. Let's go three,
Three? You want three? Okay.
because we still have to face most likely PSG after that to get to the final.
Fair point. Fair point. Save a couple of those. In our previous episode, we talked about Olivia Smith from Liverpool.
How'd she do
And
against my girl Katie?
she was very good against Katie that whole day.
That's very,
Got
very
inside her
kind of
head.
you to say it like that instead of
Yeah,
some
got
other ways.
got inside her head a little bit, I think, too. Usually, Eric, I'm pretty good about these kind of things, but I missed this. So I was glad
How'd
that
you
you
find
pointed out
out?
to me. Yeah, I found out that the Canadian national player Olivia Smith is a former Nittany Lion. That's right. She played soccer for Penn State for one season, 2022. After that, she'd had enough. She decided to go pro. So
She's
she
clearly good
played.
enough to do it.
Yeah, clearly. Yeah. It is something that I missed when we were talking about Liverpool and previewing and talking about them afterwards. So,
I got your back.
yeah, I appreciate that, Eric. Thank you.
I'm also an indie lion, don't forget. So love to see it. So Liverpool had a statement they sent out earlier in the week. Their vice captain, Taylor Hines, was sexually harassed.
Hmm.
Some players made, or some fans, some men made inappropriate comments during the last game we played against them in the FA Cup quarter cup. Say it for me. FA Cup
FA
quarterfinal.
quarterfinal. FA
Yeah.
Cup quarterfinal. The Adobe FA
So
Cup
there you
quarterfinal.
go. So
There
this
we go.
guy who said it, the individual, was promptly ejected. Both clubs
Right.
are investigating, with
Hmm?
Liverpool offering full support to Hines. So when you saw what you're about to read, you texted me, "This is why I love this club," because Arsenal are also
Yeah, we are.
supporting this
Here's
player.
Yep. The statement from the Arsenal are we are investigating inappropriate comments made by an individual toward Liverpool's Taylor Hines during our FA Cup quarterfinal on Sunday.
So you
The
could see
offender was ejected,
ejected.
and Arsenal reaffirms zero tolerance for abuse. Love that. Saying we have zero tolerance approach to abuse and discrimination of any kind and remain committed to taking strong action against such behavior. Love this club.
I
Love
do.
this club for that statement.
Yep. And
Hmm.
and they're taking action. I don't know what it's going to be. I'm sure we'll see something. I hope we see something soon. But players shouldn't have to have any form of harassment. And
No,
we've talked about and we've seen, uh, brown skinned, I'll just put it that way, players
yeah,
in most of the big leagues across Europe and just be torn apart with terrible, terrible things being said to them. And it's not right. And I'm glad to see it, a club like ours taking control of this and making statements that we're not going to have it.
yeah. I was thrilled to see this. I texted you that, hey,
Yep.
this is why I love this club, and they consistently uphold these values that they hold true and dear to them. Which I mean, how many clubs can say that? So it's good.
Not Inter Milan.
No.
No, but this is what we were talking about recently. There are reasons why Arsenal is a hated club, and I'm not saying this is one, but our club has been at the forefront of bringing in, players from outside of England when they had the whole Irish
Hmm.
talked about.
Sure,
They brought in players from outside of England when they had a whole African,
sure.
all kinds of, uh, support there. And this year is all about that specifically, right? That's the
You
away
bet. That's why they've
uniform
got the
is
black
all
shirt.
about
Hmm.
that. And
Hmm.
then we were the first club to have, I think it was nine, and the first club to have 11 non-English players on the
Right.
field. So I mean, like,
That's the line that was crossed.
we've always been a club that is about not just the white guy. We've always been the club that's about doing the right thing because it's the right thing to do. And that means uh, taking care of anybody who's good at this game.
Yeah, and putting out the best players that you've got and the best players that you can have on your team. You bet. Whoever those players are.
Right.
It's
So cool.
uh it's always been at the forefront of Arsenal. They play the beautiful game, so I enjoy it.
Love it. Thanks for pointing it out.
Hmm.
So game on Friday. I don't
For the
want to
women.
stump you with a question. Is that going to be on? I got to see where we can find that game.
Ooh, good question. I do not. Boy, I didn't do that bit of
I'm looking at it
research,
right
did
now.
I? No, I didn't. Is it going to be on that YouTube channel?
Dazin is FA player is well, it might be. It might be on that. I'm not seeing a specific game. 2 days ago. Yep, same thing I already just looked at. I don't know. How to watch Everton Arsenal live on TV. Here we go. WSL YouTube channel. So there you go, folks.
Yep. So go there. Yeah, let's see. Yep, confirming that is in fact the case.
And it kicks off at 2 p.m. or no, 3 p.m. because we're only
3
4 hours.
p.m.
We're only 4 hours ahead. 3
Yeah,
p.m.
this
Eastern
whole time
Standard
thing,
Time.
we're now another hour beyond,
There,
which has been beneficial for today, for yesterday and today for me. It started a little later, which is great.
so starts at 4 o'clock, and then the men's game. What do we got for that?
That's a good one.
Men's game is 1:30
Saturday or Sunday?
Sunday.
Sunday. Okay.
I'm trying to figure out. That's Arsenal.com. So I believe that's going to be 1:30 our time.
Okay. Right. It's like, yeah, the time difference is a slightly odd for us right now because of that whole thing.
I'm just trying to decide if I'm on Arsenal USA or Arsenal UK. Because
So
that would make
just
the time difference.
just to point this out for everyone, Chelsea and Man City play this weekend in the WSL. Now, here's a fun fact. They're gonna play a home and home in the Champions League.
What?
So they are gonna play each other 3 consecutive times.
In a week, I guess, roughly 8 days,
Well,
maybe.
week and a half, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, yeah.
That is bonkers. I have never ever heard of that before in my so this is like you're starting to play, the NHL has these best of seven series, the NBA has these best of seven series. You're going to be able to make adjustments from game to game, little tweaks that can have big effect.
It'll be interesting to see what happens in the WSL game because Chelsea doesn't need to win that game.
No, they really don't. They're so far ahead.
So I wonder if that's the game they choose. What's the order of these games? Champions League, WSL Champions League, or is it
WSL is first, and that's on Saturday, the 15th.
and then Wednesday?
And then it's either Tuesday or Wednesday. I can't remember which. And then
Yeah.
the following Tuesday or Wednesday.
Yeah,
But they
because they
don't,
go the opposite. Yeah.
because then we'll have our catch up game in that time frame
I
in the
think
week.
that I think that they probably play most of their regular starters, I'm guessing. Chelsea in the WSL game. Maybe give some people a break. I don't know. But I think depending on what happens in that first Champions League game, like us, will determine what they do in the second, right? Like the men's
Yeah.
against PSV.
Yes, you bet it will.
Yeah.
And here's the funny thing. I'm looking at this YouTube channel right now. And the people are always queuing up for these things to watch them. I see one person is waiting right now for the Arsenal match that's being played on Friday. And there are 8 people waiting for the match between City and Chelsea on Saturday. Isn't that a little
I don't know what
bonkers? You're in the queue, I guess.
is
I don't
there
know.
is there some
It's just a
advantage
blank
to being in the
screen.
queue?
No, there is no advantage. There's the people that want to be first, I suppose.
There's always somebody when a
I want
new
to start
article
typing
comes
it in.
out and they get to be in the comments and the comment is first, so
First,
they can be first. And I love it when
maybe.
somebody else makes a real comment and the first commenter who types first is second.
Hmm,
That's my favorite thing.
that's the best. Yes.
It's one of my favorite things. So when you sing the song, that's one of my favorite things.
Oh, okay. I don't sing that song often, but okay.
Yep. All right, Matt,
All right.
it's good to see your
Yep.
face.
Good to see you
Episode 52. I didn't say it at the beginning. It's
in the
crazy.
books. I know. I love these numbers.
All right.
Once
We
upon.
almost blew our timeout again, but
Oh my gosh.
yep.
It again. Okay.
See you soon.
We'll see you. Bye.
Bye.
Well, thanks everyone for tuning in to Stateside Gooners Arsenal FC show. Every episode, we bring American Gooners together to dive into the emotions, the tactics, and all the action on and off the pitch. If you enjoyed the show, don't forget to subscribe, share it with your fellow Gooners to keep the Arsenal conversation going. Until next time, from across the pond, this is where our Arsenal community meets: win, lose, draw. We'll catch you next time. Thanks for listening.
Thanks, everybody.